Hey guys, welcome back to The Breakthrough, an online community of women that are obsessed with knowing their identity in Jesus Christ. It's been a while since I've talked to you. Last week was a little weird with the long extra weekend and not getting a video up, so I feel like it's been a long time since I've talked to you guys. But during that time period, David and I were able to kind of get away, reset our minds, and just really refocus on everything. And I just feel like I walked into this new week with a different type of presence, a really sound mind, and a really good understanding of what I needed to talk about next. So this past weekend, David and I were able to go visit some friends, and we went up to the mountains, and I was talking to one of our mentors, and he asked me what it was like growing up or being surrounded by an almost a trauma state life, with my dad battling cancer for the past 10 plus years. Okay. And he gave me a day to think about it, and I was kind of wrestling over the question, and Dave and I went to go get coffee, and I said, I am not functioning out of a state of fear, which really changes this approach for me. But I said, it doesn't take away the emotion of things. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about really truly aligning our emotions with truth and what God says about that. And really truly how to kind of approach traumatic things in our life, or things in our life in general that are traumatic to us, and how do we approach it through a sound mind, but not necessarily feeling like we're robots or feeling like we are functioning out of a robot state. So I have Colossians 3:2-3 that I want to read to you once I get there. Let me find it. So Colossians 3:2-3 says, "Set your mind on what is above, not on what is on the earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with the Messiah in God. When the Messiah, who is your life, is revealed, then you also will be revealed in him in the glory." So it says, set your mind on what is above and not what is on this earth. That's that's Colossians 3:2. And this is important in the sense of our mindset plays a major role in life situations. Our mindset, I honestly, if you want to go really far into mindset, I suggest reading Switch on Your Brain by Caroline Leaf. Incredible book, highly recommend. But our mindset, while we can set our mind on truth, like for example, my statement about my dad is I don't have to live in a state of fear because God tells me not to, right? To cast all my worries on him. And so I don't have to live in this mindset of fear. But so while I'm able to set my mind, that doesn't necessarily mean the emotion is taken away from this. And don't get me wrong on this. So when I talk about emotion, I'm meaning that emotion does not dictate my decisions. It does not dictate the outcome that I'm going to reply out of or the way that I'm going to respond. It just allows me to have some type of emotion about what's going on in my life. Now, emotions are not a bad thing. Emotions, we were created with emotions. We were created to feel and to make decisions and to have an opinion about things. It's in our soul. And so by doing that, I'm able to address my emotions, but I'm able to align it with truth. So whenever my dad goes into surgery, right, I get worried, right? I get scared. I could get a little bit angry, sad, obviously, frightened, but in line with that, I'm able to turn to truth, and I'm able to say, okay, God, this is how I'm feeling, but I need you to tell me what is it you're doing, or how would you want me to respond through this? And it could easily be to trust and that he's going to provide, to remind myself that he's a good father and that he's in control. He's fully in control, and that our days are numbered, and that he is like all knowing, right? And so this can give me peace of mind in situations. It doesn't mean that sadness goes away. It doesn't mean that anger goes away or frustration goes away. It just means that I can address those emotions and I can say, okay, I know this is how I'm feeling about this certain situation, but I also know truth. And so we have this statement, truth is what God says regardless of how I feel. So even though my emotions are real and God has gifted me these emotions, I can still say, okay, this is truth. This is what I base my life off of. And so I'm going to compare the two, right? Because our emotions can lie to us. Our emotions can make us do some really dumb stuff. Our emotions can detour us. It can sell us a false story if we are fully going off of our emotions and not off of truth. If we are not saying, okay, emotions, I understand that you're there, but what does my Heavenly Father say? And if it doesn't align with truth, if it's saying, hey, I'm sad, I'm angry, therefore I need to run my own life, or I need to take care of the situation because no one else is, then that's not truth. And so I can say, okay, I'm angry, but this is not how I'm going to respond. Because fear or anger or emotions, when our emotions are compressed, when they're not dealt with, when they aren't addressed, right? When they are compressed over time, we respond with a flesh response. We respond with controlling our life. Whatever it is, whatever our flesh response is, whatever our response to pressure over time is, then I can say, okay, this is not truth. This is me trying to do life on my own. This is me saying, God, I can handle it because you aren't handling the situation. Okay, so when I think about my dad's cancer, or I think about what's happening in our world right now, or I think about my marriage or friendships or whatever is going on in my life, I can address that emotion, but I know that I can respond spiritually. I can respond out of my spirit. I don't have to respond out of my flesh. And so I'm able to set my mind on truth and align those two. This is a huge topic in the sense of what it can present. You see, we respond as a world through our emotions majority of the time because we don't understand who we're functioning out of. We don't understand that the Spirit of Jesus Christ is in us and we have His mindset. We have His gifts literally in us. Okay, we have the fruit of the Spirit in us. And so when we don't understand that, when we don't understand that we are able to function out of truth, or we're able to function out of the same resources that our Heavenly Father functions out of, then we start trying to dictate our own life. You just look around. Look around at your life. Look around at your relationships. Look around at the news. How are people responding? How are you responding? How's your spouse or your kids responding? If they don't understand that they can respond out of their spirit, then they're going to go through their cards of how they want to dictate their life. They're going to use their pity party. They're going to use their silent treatment. They're going to use holding their breath. They're going to use running away. They're going to use social media. They're going to use slitting up their parents. They're going to use whatever they want, guilt, whatever, like control, lying, whatever is going to meet their needs or whatever is going to get their way. They're going to respond out of that because they don't know who they can function out of. And so when we understand that our emotions don't dictate our situation, we are free from that. Now this is easier said than done. Okay, I can say this all the time. Obviously, there's still some times that, I respond out my emotions because I'm not perfect, right? I still do that. I'm still living on this earth, right? And so when I'm able to address that, because I know it's going to happen, I can still choose to exit out of that. God gives us steps and exits out of every situation. It's just how we're going to respond. So I encourage you to look through your life. Look through how you're responding. What are your coping mechanisms? Because the world will provide you with a list, books, aisles, magazines, whatever, Pinterest of coping mechanisms to how to respond into life situations. When the truth is you can just look right here. Set your mind and then align your emotions with truth. Okay, but you always have to set your mind first. And then you're able to function on spirit, not out of your old coping mechanisms, not out of what the world tells you to respond like. You don't have to go to social media. You don't have to go to a gossip group. You don't have to go to whatever, a mean text message or calling someone, right? You can respond out of love and peace and patience and understanding because you have the same resources as your Heavenly Father in you and through you because you are a spiritual being. You have been made new. Therefore, use your resources. Use what's been given to you. Don't use the world. The world's going to end in destruction and not feeling like you were set up successfully. You're never going to feel complete if you're trying to function out what the world tells you is going to make you complete. The only time you're going to feel complete is if you're going to truth. So that is all I have, but that was my realization as I was kind of working through this myself, because like I said, that was the question. But I don't have to respond out of fear. I can respond out of truth. And I can align my emotions out of truth. And I encourage you to do the same. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I just also want to let you know, if you are feeling compelled to give to the breakthrough because it is impacting your life in a major way, I will show you this video here. And the breakthrough has been given its own drop-down link for In Christ Ministries, so you can give to the breakthrough. And all this shows is that the breakthrough is impacting you in a major way. It shows that you're finding some freedom in what's being taught, and you appreciate this expansion of this ministry from In Christ Ministry. So I just want to thank you again for connecting with me and allowing me to speak into your life. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your week.